The question I get is, how do I find you? Or how do I find the correct professional that I want to see? And honestly, that is a big barrier because the referrals that I get are not coming from a lot of doctors and surgeons and whatnot. A lot of it is word of mouth, and a lot of it is patient satisfaction, right?
Sure.
So in looking for a good provider, I think it's important to meet them. I think it's important to talk to them. I think it's important to see what they offer as modalities. Looking at a clinic, I was looking at a clinic for my mom who had low back pain, and she's Massachusetts, so neither of us can
Sure.
treat her. And I called the facility and I said, first of all, I Googled, right? That's what we all do. So I
Sure.
Googled and I was like, I want to find a facility that has ARP, because to me, if a facility has progressive equipment, then they're progressive in nature and they're progressive in their thought process, and they're dialed in. I want to have somebody that I know has credentials and that I know has continued their education throughout and that's passionate about it. So the conversation with the actual therapist on the phone is what I want to do to see whether or not I fit into their mold. Are they happy to treat me? Do they have an interest in treating my condition that I specifically have? It doesn't have to be like solely, somebody that just treats bike PTs or PTs
Sure.
that are cyclists or whatever. But like the whole mentality, like the cardiovascular fitness, if it's important for me to have gains in my cycling, my swimming, my golfing, I want to go to someone like myself, right? I want to be able to know that my person's going to push the envelope and not just work on that box cutter, 70%, you're good, you can fold towels, you can, stand up and walk household distances, you're discharged kind of PT. I want the one that will show me, hey, yeah, we can get you well within like 2 to 6 visits. And then after that, we're going to work on goals that are specific to you. We're going to work on things that you want to get towards. And
Yeah, that's
if
great.
you're not happy, we're going to keep dialing away, or I refer out, because I'm not too egomania that I think that I can treat everything. But yeah, I can get you to where you need to be because I network with people like yourself that have that window.
That's another question I ask when I'm looking for chiropractors is, do you have a network of other types of doctors that you refer out to if you're not getting results? How often are you having to refer somebody out? If they say, yeah, we never refer anybody out, then,
That's a red flag.
maybe what's the average patient visit per year? Like how many times does one patient come in a year's time in your clinic? And if it's like over 100 visits a year, are you ever releasing people from care? Or do you just shift everybody from one phase of care into what you call wellness care that you keep coming in forever to maintain that? What techniques does the doctor practice? Does he deal with other things besides chiropractic? I see you have a couple therapies on your website. What's the most common patient that you guys take care of? So you can ask enough questions even over the phone before you make your appointment to know, are we in the right ballpark here? But, in general, another thing I want to say to the audience is when you're looking at, how risky is it to go to this type of doctor that somebody referred you or told you need to go see this type of doctor, you can just Google what's the average malpractice premium for that type of doctor, and then you're going to see how risky it is. So there's a lot of flack about chiropractors, and everybody's afraid of chiropractors, and they think, that you could adjust my neck and paralyze me. Look at our insurance, okay? Every year that a practitioner is in practice, your rates are going to go up every year because you're seeing more people. So now you're responsible for that many more people. They don't care that you've never had an incident, never hurt anybody. They're going to say 10 years, you got thousands of people versus, the hundreds initially. So average medical doctor that's a surgeon is going to pay about $250,000 a year in premiums. And so when they're part of a group, they don't want to risk making an outside the box thinking recommendation and risk being kicked out of the group, because then they're going to have to pay their own insurance. And so right now the groups will pay that for them. A nurse that is following the direction of the surgeon still has to pay an average of about $40,000 a year. And that's for $1 to $3 million coverage per incident. That's average in our profession. A chiropractor, me being 28 years in practice, I pay about $2,000 a year for that same coverage. And that's gone up every year for 28 years. So in general, chiropractors don't hurt people. Otherwise, we would all be paying the price and we'd all be paying higher premiums. So outside of just knowing the general type of doctor and what their overall risk is. And honestly, the reason that the other people have such high risk is they're injecting things, they're cutting on you, they're doing things that could go south and could have complications, and you could die. Most people don't die because you got an adjustment. There's been a couple bad chiropractors in the 100 years that maybe somebody had a stroke because they didn't do a proper exam. But that is an incident, a case, you know? And so our profession in general is one of the safest types of doctors you could ever go see. I'm not exactly sure on the PT side of things.
We are too. I mean, our highest incident rate is literally leaving a hub pack on too long. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Our insurance is $700 a year. So we are very, very safe.